Hello and welcome to Time Out, your live daily huddle with Tristan White for Friday, the 26th of June 2020. If this is your first ever Time Out live daily huddle, a huge welcome to you. Thanks for choosing to join me and the Culture is Everything crew here at Time Out. If you've been here before, big welcome back. Thanks for being part of the crew. Thanks for being a regular contributor to our Time Out live daily huddles. I'm Tristan White. I'm the founder and CEO of the Physio Co, a healthcare company that exists to help seniors stay mobile, safe and happy. And right now, I'm your host for our Time Out Daily Huddle that we have every day at 1:03 p.m. Melbourne and Sydney time. If you're here, please give me the thumbs up, jump in the comments, say hello. I'd love to know you're here. I can't see you, even though you can see me from that end of the screen or device, wherever you're tuning in from. I can see Marge is here, I can see Kira's here. Nice to have you both with us. Like nearly every day, you guys are as consistent as clockwork. Although I reckon, Marge, we might have been yesterday. I may not have spotted you one of these days. But either way, great to have you both here today. And if you're live, please get involved with the comments. I'd love to have you involved, participating. And if you're on the replay, that is perfectly fine too. Feel free to jump in the comments, ask a question, join in as we work through our timeout, the three parts of our Time Out Daily Huddle. I promise to come back and answer your questions and support you the best way I can. So in today's Daily Huddle, like every Time Out Daily Huddle, we're going to cover three things. And those three things are what's going on, the priorities that we're working on, the important things that we're working on to get done in our life, in our careers, in our teams, in our families for the next 24 hours. Second thing is where are you stuck, a challenge, something that's getting in the way, a roadblock that's slowing us down. And the third thing is, of course, a good news story told through the lens of a core value. Core values, a bit like rules, more like guiding principles that help us to lead our teams and communicate in a clearer way to everyone. We're doing our best to align, support, and move in a direction which creates a better future. Shannon's here as well. G'day, Shannon. Nice to have you here with us for Time Out on Friday, the 26th of June. Now, last thing before we start, and that is, how'd you go yesterday? How'd you go with your priorities? Did you get all three of them done? Did you get just one done? Whatever the answer is, there's no wrong answer. The important bit, we have priorities, we work hard to get them done, we check, we revise, we learn, and then we move forward to the next day, the next 24-hour period. So as I check out my notes, I can tell you that I shared 5 priorities with you yesterday, and I got 4 of them done. So pretty good day, pretty solid day of getting stuff done for me in my job, both at the Physio Co and with you guys, the Culture is Everything crew. But on that note, I reckon it's time to hit start on that timer in the corner of our screen and launch into the 3 parts of our huddle for today, the last one for the week. So let's do it. Welcome to Time Out. Let's get stuck into the very first agenda item, which is what's going on. As I share my priorities, the important things that I'm working on with you, I'd love you to think and check your list and decide what are the most important things you've got to do in the next 24 hours. And at the very least, jot them down, have them on your phone, have them in your calendar, wherever you need to have them. But it's so important we know what our priorities are, and then we work through them in priority order. So let me get on to mine. My 2 priorities I'm going to share with you guys for my job at the Physio Co today. First one is I need to call the landlord who owns the office that we work from in South Melbourne. Our Physio Co support office is in South Melbourne, and we've been there for a long time. We have been there for a long time in terms of years of renting the office. We haven't been there for ages in terms of working from home because of COVID-19. So I'm in regular contact with our landlord to make sure that we've got the rent reduction that we need to be able to survive in our business, and also to focus on what happens next, what happens when we do come back from this COVID situation. So that's my first priority. And the second one is just to have a bit of a look ahead at the week next week, which is the first week of July, and also the month of July. We've done a lot of planning this week at the Physio Co. Monday and Tuesday were big annual planning days for the weeks and year ahead. And I want to put that into some actions into my calendar for next week and next month, so I'm organised in advance and know what's coming up. So there you have it. They're my 2 priorities for my job at the Physio Co today. What are yours? What are you working on? I'd love you to share them, drop them in the comments. I can see Kira's got hers in here. Let's check it out. Kira's priorities are Chip away at employment contracts. 2 team members a day is my motivation limit. Got it, Kira, makes perfect sense. Follow up on team completing COVID safe infection control certificate. Good, important, and film 1 minute touching base. It's Friday debrief video for my team. Nice, I like it, Kira. I like the way you break it down. I like the way that you've always got a team-related priority. You've also got some important stuff that you're chipping away at as well, which is more about leading and growing and improving the business and the system. So thank you for sharing it there, Kira. By the way, if you're tuning in to Time Out, you need to also check out this week's edition of the Think Big, Act Small podcast, because Kira Rankin from Capital Hydrotherapy is our guest. And it was a really great conversation, understanding her backstory, the business that she's leading now, the way she's improving herself and her team, and also the way she does her very best to prioritize her family and manage her 3 little kids, as well as getting other important things done in her life as well. So check it out if you haven't listened to that episode. Alrighty, I always like to share some priorities for this Culture is Everything crew as well. What are the things I'm doing to help progress the community that we're building and to support leaders like you to continue to learn and grow? And so my 2 priorities is I need to post an event up on Facebook, not the Time Out live events that have been going up recently, but on Friday night at 7:36 p.m. Melbourne and Sydney time. It's going to be a live event where I'm going to share the launch or more information about the Culture is Everything Club, a online space that I've been building to help us leaders to learn, grow and support each other. And I'm going to share the information with you guys on Monday night. And I'm going to invite you to come and join the Culture is Everything Club if it's of interest, if it's something that you think will help you, and to be surrounded by other leaders who are probably learning and growing similar things to what you're doing. So that's the important number 1. And secondly, over the weekend between now and Monday, 2 emails to the Culture is Everything crew, just to make sure that everyone is across that live event, they know what's happening, and if they want to, they can choose to come and join us at that live event on Monday night. So that's the 2 Culture is Everything priorities. And last one, personal priority for the next 24 hours, which is a bit of conflict because it's also for something on Monday. We got a birthday in our family on Monday, the same day that I'm launching that Culture is Everything Club. My wife, Kimberly's birthday is on Monday. I need to make sure that the kids and I are organised over the weekend. So we've got a prezi organised. We've got something, we're ready to celebrate KW's birthday as well. So they are my priorities for the next 24-hour period. Alrighty. Thank you, Kira, for sharing your priorities. They're mine. I would love you to share yours if you're willing, if you're up to it, if you're ready. At the very least, have them written down. I like to use pen and paper. Actually, pencil. I still like pencil and paper. But wherever you do it, wherever there's a place you carry your priorities around with you, you know what you're working on. Make sure you've got them written down. It's so important to know what we're working on. Otherwise, we get distracted. We end up in reactive mode. So that's the first part of a Time Out Daily Huddle. All right, we are about halfway through these 12 minutes. We better get on to where are you stuck? This part of the Time Out Daily Huddle is a time to stop, to think, to consider what's slowing us down. What's getting in the way? What are the things that we may not have realized or paid enough attention to that are roadblocks or getting in the way of us making progress with our priorities and leading our teams and leading our families, or leading us, and of course leading ourselves. And so it can be something as small, like you're not getting enough sleep. It can be something much bigger, like in your team, there's a conflict that needs to be resolved, or there's a large client problem which is causing a challenge and might affect team members, might affect the business, might affect the people that you can serve and help in the team that you are leading. So they are the possibilities. Yesterday I told you we had a challenge making sure we had the right transaction limit in our online banking at the PhysioCo. That's been solved, which is really, really pleasing. Nice work, Anushi, to getting that sorted out for us. The one I've got for you today, which is very small, but it's been something that's been on my mind. And you probably haven't noticed too much what's behind me back there in my little home office here in Foster. But one thing you might know that's missing from back there now is this Steve Jobs picture, or Steve Jobs poster. Now, this picture I've had for a couple of years. It's been here in my office for a while, and it's been behind me for most of these timeouts. But I'm a bit conflicted at the moment. I'm a bit stuck because there's so much to love about what Steve Jobs created in his amazing, in his life and his tenure as the founder or co-founder and then CEO of Apple. By the same token, he wasn't, by all reports, a particularly nice bloke. He actually wasn't particularly patient, and patiently persistent is one of the core values of the Culture is Everything crew. There was plenty to like, but maybe some things to not so much like about Steve Jobs. And I know that's human. I know we're all like that, but I'm a bit conflicted as to whether I want to have that picture of Steve Jobs in my office around me as an influence. So I'm a bit stuck. Stay tuned. I'll think that through some more and come back to you. And I'll be interested in your thoughts. If you know of Steve Jobs, if you've got a view on his contribution and whether it's a learning opportunity or whether it's something that maybe doesn't fit with the values of what is important to me and this crew here at the Culture is Everything crew. So that's it. That's my Where Are You Stuck item for today. A bit of a left field one, but something that's been on my mind just a little bit. Alrighty, last bit, third and final part of Time Out Live Daily Huddle, as always, is a good news story told through the lens of a core value. Now, core values are a bit like rules, more like guiding principles that help us to be able to document, communicate, and praise people when they do great things of living the behaviours we expect in our team, and or an opportunity to use the language to reinforce, to re-educate, and to redirect people when they're not quite behaving in the way that we do expect in our team. Now, I'm going to share one from one of my teammates at the Physio Co today, but what I haven't shared for a little while is an example of core values being lived from you guys, from someone in your team. If you've got a set of core values and you've got someone who's been living them and you've got someone who you'd love to praise publicly, we've had them from Carmel before, Kira has been praised before, Ash has certainly shared a good news story here within the crew. There's been some other examples as well. Please feel free to drop them in the comments, send me a message. I'd love to receive them. I'd love to understand what's important in your team, and I'd love to help you praise yourself and or someone in your team via sharing a good news story here on Time Out. But the one I'm going to share today is from my teammates at the Physio Co. The Physio Co has got 4 core values, and one of them is respect everyone. And under respect everyone, we have a sort of a defining statement, or one of the dot points that help us to understand how to live respect everyone. And one of those dot points is we are generous with our time to help others. And the person who's lived this core value of respect everyone and we're generous with our time to help others is someone who I work closely with. He leads the operations and his name's Mike Quinn. And Mike Quinn's lived that core value of respect everyone because I've been asking for a fair bit of help as I've been building this Culture is Everything club, this online space that I'm launching on Monday. I've been speaking to a whole lot of leaders about their experience of what's worked as they've learnt to manage themselves and manage other people, what hasn't worked, how they've gone about growing, and how they've interacted with books or podcasts or mentors and all those type of things. And there's been some great people help me out, and I thank you to all those people. But Mike Quinn is flat out. He's like many of us. He's got a busy job, which for him is at the Physio Co. He's got a family, 2 little kids. He's a triathlete. He works hard to train plenty of hours per week. And despite all those things, he found time to do the ideal member interview questions. And he's been very patient because I haven't circled back to him to get that information from him for a few weeks since we had little Xavier born in our family. But Quinny has been very respectful in getting the job done for me, and then after this Time Out Huddle today, I'm on a Zoom call with Mike to wrap up, to get his responses and to help me understand his experience growing as a leader from a technician, a physio for him, into firstly leading a small team and then building more responsibility to lead the operations for us at the Physio Co. So Quinny, thanks for living the respect everyone core value at the Physio Co. Appreciate it. Look forward to the call we're going to have later on the Savo, well actually pretty darn soon. Alrighty, on that note, we have got 26 seconds to spare for our Time Out Daily Huddle on the 26th of June. Thanks so much for being here. If you've got a question, a comment, feel free about Time Out, about anything we've covered, feel free to jump in the comments and share it with me. If not, today's Friday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. Get stuck into your priorities, and I'll be back same time, same place, 1:03 p.m. Melbourne and Sydney time on Monday. And don't forget, on Monday night, 7:36 p.m, we've got our launch of the Culture is Everything Club, which will be here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter as well. For the time being, though, I'm Tristan White. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Catch you next week. See ya.